Alright, so Markiplier is getting criticized for his AI usage. And there's this really important clip related to this. So first, let's check this out.
Well, okay, so the thing about that is in computers, data centers need water. Do you know why?
Cooling?
Yes, cooling. So that's what they're doing. That's what they mean when it's taking the water.
Who takes more water? Okay? ChatGPT or almonds?
Let's ask ChatGPT. Hey, what would consume more water? The data centers that power you and your ability to answer my questions, or almond growing in all of California?
All almond farming in California uses significantly more water than data centers. Almonds require around a gallon of water per almond, which adds up to billions of gallons annually. Data centers also consume water, especially for cooling, but the volume is much smaller compared to large-scale agriculture.
You're not just saying that because you're ChatGPT and you wouldn't want to be accused of stealing too much water, are you?
Nope.
Alright, so as you just saw in the clip right there, Markiplier asks ChatGPT if almond growing consumes more water than the operations of ChatGPT. And ChatGPT answers that it's actually almond growing that consumes more water. But, that's not really the thing that's really being discussed here. It's just that overall, AI consumes water. And also the electricity that's needed to power all this stuff. If that electricity is being generated through non-renewable energy sources, which in many cases it is, then that too is harming the environment. And so this is the major criticism that people have of Markiplier and his AI usage, because the people who are criticizing him are saying that, hey, AI usage is bad for the environment, so you're contributing to that by using it. Like, here's this tweet that was made that says, Markiplier, one of my favorite YouTubers since I was 14, is defending AI and uses it. And it's got that reaction right there. And it got 42,000 likes. And then we have this post from Dexerto, which says, Markiplier is being called out for directly supporting AI research, but he believes the tech can do good. And then there's this quote from him that says, there are reasons to be critical of AI the way that it currently is. That doesn't mean that it's entirely, as a concept, a problem. And then there was this community note that was put under this post, and it says, this headline implies that Markiplier is in support of generative AI without drawing a distinction between generative and other AI. He has stated that he supports the use of AI as a tool for medical research and the like, and has specifically disavowed generative AI. Now real quick, I just want to mention that I myself have used AI, including ChatGPT, and I'm going to show you some clips of Markiplier actually responding to all of this, and I actually agree with a lot of the points that he's going to make, because while I do understand that there are environmental impacts of AI usage, for example in terms of water usage and the energy consumption, I think the best way of going about it is to try to find more efficient ways of actually powering AI, like investing more in renewable energy so that the energy used by AI gets produced in a way that doesn't harm the environment. And in terms of water usage, you could use the liquid cooling system where the same liquid gets used over and over again to avoid wastage. Alright, now there's this really interesting clip that I'm about to show you, and it's from Markiplier's stream, which is named Markiplier vs. AI Fight Night. So let's check this out.
I confess that I was the first person to be sounding the alarm that it was bad. I was the first person to say this is honey all over again.
Alright, so pretty interesting reaction from Markiplier right there, just wanted to show this, especially that thing at the end where he just suddenly changed his tone. Alright, so now let's watch another clip from the same stream.
Can't promise at any point I was not excited about it, because as a technological development, there is a reason for some people to be excited about this. And it's not for the reasons that you might think. I'm not shouting that, yes, it's great that it takes up so much power. No, there are serious medical advances, and there are serious legitimate uses to this technology and the research that is being done to it. The actual reaction that people are having to this is a natural cause of this threat to their livelihood, to their ability as an artist, to everything that they're doing. And that is incredibly valid.
Alright, so I'd say pretty good clip right there. He addressed a lot of the issues. So yeah, overall, I'd say it was pretty nice. Alright, so real quick, I just want to pause the video and say that it would really help me out if you could just subscribe to my channel, because I am trying to grow this channel, and so it really helps me out when people subscribe. Anyway, back to the video. And so now we're going to take a look at this tweet that mentions the Distractable podcast, which Markiplier is on. So here the tweet says, I think the biggest issue with the whole Markiplier using AI scandal is the fact that 90% of his fandom doesn't actually listen to Distractable, where he has frequently used ChatGPT either to look up information or generate bits. It's not a one-off usage, it's been consistent. And so now let's take a look at a clip of Markiplier from that same stream, and he addresses AI usage on his podcast.
One of the episodes of Distractable that people often talk about as being an example of me supporting AI, which is not, is Caker AI, right? I presented to Bob and Wade images that were AI generated and images that were stock photos. And I asked them to tell which was which. And the whole point of that, and I think what was lost on people, is that was meant to scare them. That was meant to scare the audience. That was meant to translate just how bad this could be because of the danger of it, because of how hard it would start to be to differentiate. And that was a year ago. What was that? That was more than a year ago, right? And that is not the first instance of when I was sounding the alarm of how bad this could be.
All right, so as you just saw, in that case, he was actually just trying to show people that it's really difficult to tell AI apart from real images. And so it was this thing that was supposed to bring attention to that and spread awareness. So it wasn't really something endorsing it. And so now here's this tweet, which is actually defending Markiplier, and it shows this clip of him from that stream. And something worth noting is that this clip got 65,000 likes. So the way that I see it, quite a lot of people are actually on Markiplier's side here. And the tweet says, Markiplier basically saying to the people who are trying to cancel him, you're mad, that's great, here's my stance on AI. Redirect your anger towards changing it for the better. Is exactly why he did not deserve the hate he has gotten recently. And so here's the clip from this tweet.
That's what I started this at, is we're on the same side. We're absolutely on the same side. And there's a side here that is for the betterment of this in the first place. So I personally am doing nothing besides paying for the foundation. That is the only thing that I'm doing in this, the only thing I've been doing. But it's something that I've talked about because it's important to understand. To fight something, you have to understand what you're fighting, right? You have to. It's something that I don't even fully understand. But if you want to change something, you have to understand it. You have to try to understand it.
Alright, so in that clip right there, he mentioned a foundation, and that foundation is actually Real Good AI. And they're basically focused on developing ethical AI, which is why Markiplier supports them. So yeah, overall I think his response was pretty good, and I just think that AI is so incredibly advanced and powerful that we should definitely develop it further and try to use it in really good ways, because it genuinely has some really useful and really good applications. And we also have to understand that right now, this is the beginning of this entire process of learning how to really set up the infrastructure required for AI. So yes, it's true that right now, it may not be very environmentally friendly with the way that the infrastructure for it is set up, but we need to, instead of just, focusing on not even using it at all and just not developing it, we need to now focus on trying to make it more environmentally friendly. And, I discussed the potential solutions for that in the beginning of the video. And also, I just think that technology always moves forward, regardless of how you feel, there will always be more technological development. Someone somewhere out there will be inventing new things, and, the world will move in this direction. So rather than trying to just stop technological innovation, we should instead try to, adapt and change it so that it's done in a way that doesn't harm the environment. And so yeah, these were my thoughts on this situation, and now I'm interested in hearing what you think down in the comments below. So leave a comment and we can have a discussion down there. And with all that being said, guys, this is Alexi signing out.